got the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vine, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a New River thing. Virginia Tech fire, Radford pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big dog sports talk, lighten up the dark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big Dog Sports Talk, lighten up the dark.
I'm in the zone, every day, every night. But I think most days we do okay. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the program. Please subscribe, like, and share. Here from the Family Fencing Studios. Glad to have you with us wherever you might be. Hit us up on the professional door BDST text line 391-0788 or in the chat room. Brought to you by McClellan Chiropractic, Mark Hundley.
Lighten up the dark. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders.
See, it's Thursday. See the little computer? See? Got a little keyboard, so it kind of represents what we do here.
Lighten up the dark.
David Smith, the Radford Hall of Famer, joins us at 6:30. And then Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline, Alex Guerra, Radford Baseball. And then Dwight's got to work again today. Dwight tomorrow at 7 on Friday. So tomorrow will be Dwight, Mike Ashley, and Jen, the Gamecock girl. Lots going on. And I hope you're well. Sweet 16 time in the NCAA tournament. 4 games today, 4 games tomorrow. We'll be down to the Final Four when we get to Sunday evening. If a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around to see it, does anyone hear it? Well, Major League Baseball season got underway last night. Because nothing goes hand in hand like the opening day of baseball randomly happening on a Wednesday on Netflix. That's right. Netflix. I'm sure everybody crowded around the television to watch the Yankees 7-0 win over the Giants. Somebody in Rob Manfred's office went, I got a great idea. I've got the best idea. How about a Wednesday night, right? That completely breaks from any tradition the game may have ever had. And instead of putting it on a network, even god-awful ESPN, let's put it on Netflix. Yeah, let's. Raise your hand if you knew Major League Baseball season started last night. What's going on, Steven? Prometheus, T-Bird, you / TLB guy. Vic, what's up, Vic? Good to see you, man. Oh, thoughts on the prediction on St. John's and Duke? Pain. I agree with David Teal, Vic. I think it's going to be the highlight game of the Sweet 16 for lots of reasons. And we'll see if Duke's healthy. If Duke's healthy, it changes the whole thing. Even if they get guys back. They got one guy back last week. He'll play a lot. Even if they get – I think it's going to be a heck of a game. Netflix, T-Bird says, can anybody make a sensible sports – I mean, the whole streaming thing was supposed to be like this. They presented it anyway as this gift to the sports fan. And now you have all these battles. If somebody wants to, remember how you used to be able to buy the Major League Baseball package? Like I had DirecTV for years until they lost Sunday Ticket. And you used to be able to buy the baseball package. I could watch the Padres all the time. Now there's like 6 or 7 teams that don't even have TV deals. I don't even know how you do that anymore. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Should Hubert Davis get a participation trophy for his coaching tenure in North Carolina? Yes. I think they should just give him well, he will. His participation trophy will be, what is it? It's only, I say only, but a $5 million buyout. But you think about baseball, and they understand their place. I'll give them that. Because when you're opening up on a Wednesday night, the pomp and circumstance, you used to have the bunting. I mean, like the decoration bunting, not the actual bunting strategic tool of baseball. And it used to be in the afternoon. It used to always open in Cincinnati because the Cincinnati Redlegs were the first professional baseball team. So there was tradition where the Reds would be the first pitch regardless of whom they were playing. Well, that went by the wayside many, many, many years ago. But it was always cool. They would go there and they'd show the anthem and the opening day ceremonies. And even on the dreaded ESPN, they used to have a triple header on opening day. It would start. Now they don't even cover baseball anymore. And then you're opening on a Wednesday night on Netflix. Yeah. And I just don't understand. From Cannabis Corner, where Prometheus potent leaves can fix your head, to Jen's Promised Sax Tune, where I believed like a middle school airhead. BDST is live and online. So Morris, my fiance, and I have decided that we might come down to spend our honeymoon down there in your house. She wants to go to a beach in Florida. I said, hey, I know a guy. But yeah, give Hubert a participation trophy. And let me make sure I say his name right. There's already a leader in the clubhouse for the Carolina job, by the way. TJ Otzelberger. I know who he is. I always say his name wrong. The Iowa State coach is apparently the front runner for the Carolina job. And, David Teal was raving about him. He's got a great reputation. He's only 48. Billy Donovan is not going away. David brought that name up. That would be kind of cool. I'd love to have Billy Donovan back in college basketball. He's just wasted himself in the NBA. What kind of coaching goes on in the NBA? So we'll see what happens with the Carolina search. I think there's probably a couple guys still in the tournament that are going to want to talk to the Carolina faithful. All right, you're asking me on the professional door text line, so here you go. Here's your point spreads for the night. Texas and Purdue. Purdue is 7.5 point favorites. Nebraska 1.5 point favorites over Iowa. Arizona 7.5 over Arkansas, and the game that David also pointed out, his favorite one of the first night of the Sweet 16, Illinois and Houston. Houston just 2.5 point favorites. So hopefully we'll have 4 really good games, and the officials won't be part of it, and we won't have to watch through too many of these god-awful reviews. All right, Morris, we might take you up on that. Might just show up one day, jump in the old vehicle and just head down there. And she just likes to sit on the beach, apparently. Like, that's just what she wants to do, so we can, go do stuff. Okay, have fun, honey. But you spent all your time on our honeymoon with Morris. Yeah. We went and did stuff. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think Prometheus, that job is such high esteem. You're going to take it, right? And they're going to have to adjust how they're viewed. There's no doubt. You're right. I mean, it is a pressure cooker, man. It's very similar to it doesn't feel as similar as the Alabama football job or the Notre Dame football job. It doesn't feel as similar, but it really is. Because they've always hired in-house, and it's just been kind of like Roy, shucks, slapping himself on the knee and saying, hey, we want to get Hubert in here. Let's bring Hubert. Okay. He's part of the family. So it hadn't felt like it, but it really is. And it will be amped up now when they bring someone out of the family. But I think it will start to identify like that. Yeah, it will. Kentucky identifies like that. UCLA used to. A lot of rumors about Bill Self retiring. Kansas, it'll be interesting to see what direction they go. It could be you could have 2 blue bloods wide open. Carolina and Kansas at the same time. Wow. But Carolina is first in line. And the Carolina job is much more attractive, I think, from just about every perspective, even though Kansas is a blue blood than Kansas. Although Kansas, it's a pressure cooker, and following Bill Self won't be easy. One thing about the Carolina job is you go in down there, Hubert Davis disappointed. We'll talk to David Smith about this because David's a Carolina lifer. He said that, last week, and we'll get his take. But if Otzelberger's it, people seem to say that would be a good fit. I think Carolina's got any option they want. John Shire, no. Just trying to think of guys who would not consider it. The guy at Kentucky, Mark Pope, who's a Kentucky grad. I don't think he's a great coach anyway, but Mick Cronin at UCLA, Carolina wouldn't have any interest anyway. Just trying to think of other blue blood basketball programs, but that's about it right there. There's your 5. But anybody else is going to want to talk to them. Rick Pitino, how great would that be? New York guy Rick Pitino, who's got St. John's in the Sweet 16, and secretly he's meeting with North Carolina about their job. Wouldn't that be great? Thank you, Morris. Please share. Tell them to subscribe. Threaten them if you need to. Tell them you'll stop giving them umbrella drinks if they don't subscribe. My 2 teams, Vic, is Arizona and Houston in the final. Because I just could not pick 4 number 1s. Again, I'm hoping, that won't happen now with Florida eliminated. But that's my final game. Love the pacing. Thank you very much, Frank, on the professional door text line. I agree. Love the pacing of the NCAA tournament. I know we've gotten used to it, he says, but this is great. We get to the Final Four after the second weekend. Exactly. It's not this long, drawn-out, stupid process like the college football playoff was. I don't understand why it lasts as late as it does. You shouldn't be playing college football championship game the second week of January. You've got all that time in December. You could have brought those games together. But it's set up that way for the next 2 years right now anyway. But, yeah, the tournament, as it's set up now, yeah, it feels like you're making progress every time you play, right? And then we'll be down to 4. Oh, you coming up today, Morris? Very, very cool, man. Very, very cool. Oh, I didn't know you were coming up today. Well, if you get bored, come by the stadium. Friday, we'll be doing we'll have baseball. There might be, I have to ask Alex where we are. They might change the time of our game on Friday. I hope so, because the earlier the better. 6 o'clock games are. But yeah, we'll have baseball weekend against Longwood, in-state battle. Longwood's having a good season so far. So that's what I'll be doing this weekend. And if they do move the game tomorrow to the afternoon, I'll get to watch the Duke St. John's game, which is the one game I really want to watch. Right now, I'm scheduled to miss all of it. Now, the fact that I have the correct stance, Wayne, on unnecessary usage of black uniforms does not make me a grandpa. It makes me smart and intelligent. That makes me someone with common sense. Just because you have succumbed to the, anything Virginia Tech wants to do is fine. Go Hokies. No. No. It's just stupid that they continue to wear black. Did you see the graphic of the Pasha kid transferring? He's wearing a black uniform. I have no inside intelligence on this, but doesn't it feel like they're trying to push to get black listed amongst the colors? No, this is navy blue. This is not black. Y'all are completely wrong. We do not allow black. Well, we did this year for the coaching staff, but no. This is navy blue. It's just the lighting. I wouldn't be sitting here wearing a black Highlanders anything. We're blue and red. Now, come on, you can tell that's blue. Come on. How good is our athletic program? I think depends on the programs you're talking about right now. Women's soccer has been a juggernaut in the Big South. Women's basketball just went to the women's NIT, played 2 games. Men's basketball, finished 500. Baseball's going to be good. And baseball season's kind of been thrown into a little bit of a different category now. We lost one of our student athletes, Joey Rakuya, one of the baseball players. So the guys are going through a lot. So I've kind of taken any expectation away. I don't worry about their wins and losses. I just try to talk to the guys as much as possible when I see them. Softball led by Kevin Fagan, the 2-time Super Bowl winner for the San Francisco 49ers, our head coach. But we've got good facilities. We've got really good young people in our programs. And we just turned the highest GPA in the history of our athletic programs, because at Radford we still do it the right way in terms of education, class, degrees. We still have the right vision despite this new world of insanity that's out there with pay for play, with the portal, and with all the pressure that comes with it. So I take great pride in that. Nothing about my job, well, maybe actually calling games, but just interacting daily. I try to interact with as many of our kids as I can. They all call me Mr. Rick because they all recognize me from the broadcast of their games. And when you can share a smile with a young person like that, it means a lot. I think it means a lot to them. I think it means more than you think. But yeah, I take great pride in that. I take great pride in our young people, and that's why you keep doing it. That's why you keep doing it. T-Bird asking, you coming to Giles to hunt Morris? I can't seem to find the time. Oh, Morris is going to hit Giles County. Come on. Wayne says Rick needs to be the jersey czar for the league. I do. If they would listen to me, yeah, Nike should hire me as the guy to go come in and just clean house. Whatever stupid ideas you have on the table, go burn your whiteboards. Here's what we're doing. And I would start with the Miami Dolphins, and I would show a bunch of video of their Super Bowl dynasty teams of the early 70s, specifically the uniforms that they wore against the Vikings. What was that, Super Bowl 8, 7 or 8? 8. They had the Redskins Super Bowl and then the Vikings. Anyway, it was a cloudy, rainy day, and they had on their Agua Marine. I would start with the Dolphins and say, you're going to go make that right now. And by the way, we're getting rid of that stupid helmet design. And David Smith's going to be coming on, and he's a Dolphins fan. I think you'd agree with me 100%. And then let me get unleashed on college football. Maybe I could get a congressional rule to where, yeah, you're not wearing anything but your official school colors, okay? Can we stop? And how about we just have one helmet? Can we just have one helmet? Can I watch a Virginia Tech season and have just the unbelievably gorgeous maroon helmet with the VT for 12 games? Is that too much to ask? Do we have to get these alternate whatever? Now, if you want to have a special throwback honoring a former year that what you wore, that's fine. I'm always with the throwbacks. Yeah, it's supposed to rain like hell tomorrow night. Yeah. I think that's why we're looking at moving the game up, T-Bird. I just saw the forecast. Looks like the chances are increasing. Yeah, Super Bowl 8. So I got it, didn't I? Black is the new maroon. Haven't seen one picture of Franklin in spring practice where he's wearing anything but black. Yay! It's great. It's great. And I know I can't force the name change, but I would make sure that Washington's football team looked as much like the Redskins as possible. The Eagles would wear nothing but their old Kelly green, a la Wilbert Montgomery, Ron Jaworski days. Harold Carmichael. Their dark green is terrible, and they like to wear black just for the hell of it, too. The Eagles will wear black as much as they do their green. Make it make sense. Cowboys uniforms, don't touch them. I don't hate the Giants uniforms. We could go through every team in the NFL, and I could tell you thumbs up or thumbs down. The Lions just need to stop. They've embarrassed themselves with what they've done to their uniforms. They had the silver Honolulu blue on silver pant with the blue socks. It was stunning. And now they wear this, they call them the blueberries. They wear all black helmets. See, these are the kind of things. This is where the uniform czar job needs to be implemented. It's not selling merch. It's just not. Yeah, exactly, Tebow. You're an Eagles guy. Yeah, wear the old school Kelly greens. They're gorgeous. Wilbert Montgomery, Howard Carmichael, Charlie Smith. Come on. What are we doing? Bill Bergey? Remember Bill Bergey? Frank LeMaster? Charlie Young, the tight end. Remember Charlie Young? God, he was good. Those are some good teams. Anyway, I digressed. Joining us now on the program, he's the Radford Hall of Famer, my brother David Smith. What's up, man? How are you?
I see you on the uniform thing this morning.
It wasn't me. It was Wayne's fault. I wasn't even in that mindset this morning.
I can't even be mad at some of it, though, because you brought up my Dolphins. And, yeah, we're a prime example of how you can just overthink it. It's so not needed.
It's a layup. It's a layup.
So not needed. The aquamarine with the stripes and the original dolphin helmet with the dolphin in the helmet, the original style. It needs to be that. Maybe at some point they will recognize. I think you and I talked about it like they did with the Chargers.
Yes.
The powder blues were the greatest. They would bring them out once a year and everyone would go,
yeah.
Why are you Navy? Why not go back to powder?
Yeah.
And finally they recognized that they just needed to go with the powder. But Rick, I will tell you, I'll only meet you halfway. You and these Black Virginia Tech thing, you are on one on that. It's not working for you, but
no.
I shouldn't break this to you, but it's early in the morning. I'm gonna break it to you. You and I aren't the target audience.
Oh, I know. But the thing about it, I still don't see young people buying it.
Yeah. Oh, listen, I don't think, Rick, it should be the dominant thing. I think look at it this way, and because I heard you talk about Radford and the black, and we shouldn't wear the black. Well, ironically, about 5 or 6 years ago, Pebbles and I are dredging through the bookstore, and they had a black quarter zip with the red and white logo on it. I had to jump on it. And so every time I wear it, I'm almost met with someone that goes, "Where'd you get that?" And here's what I mean, Rick. Remember, the term used to be alternate, something to have. I've worn maroon, I've worn orange, I've worn white. If you're Tech, I just want to wear something different. And there it is. Here's the thing, though, Rick, that I will agree with you on. If you want to wear it in as sweats going somewhere, that's fine. When you get to the game and to the field, if you're Virginia Tech, burgundy and white should be the Christmas with a hint of orange. Let that be your lead thing all the way around. If the coaches want to have things or two coming in, but just don't lose your core. I guess that's what I'm getting at.
Correct.
Do not lose your core. And I don't think, Rick, there's any way that Tech would ever stray from that. I'll bet you if the men played 33 games this year, where did they wear black? Maybe 4 times. something like
more
that.
than that. More than
you
that.
Think so?
The women wear a lot. Yeah,
women
softball wears it almost exclusively.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's almost like they're intentionally trying to ease their way into it.
Well, I don't know how much, I mean, everybody's got money. I guess the uniforms, maybe they wear better in softball, slide a lot. I'm with you though, Rick. Don't lose your core. Lose your core. I don't hate it as an alternate, but here's an interesting part. I think if you look up the Highlanders colors, I think we actually have green in it too.
We do. We need to bring that back. The old tartan. Our first title, we wore blue and green uniforms.
I remember that. And when we played, we had green in our numbers. I've got to find it. We had the numbers inside it was actually green.
Oh,
it was
sharp.
Red, white, and blue had the hint of green in it. And so, it's one of those things where just through time, people decide on things. Don't lose your core. I think at the end of it all, don't lose your core and you'll be all right. Because I ordered myself some Dolphin gear, some retro gear. I guess it was 2 years ago because I needed that old logo on one of my long sleeve t-shirts. Yeah, man. So I got the helmet. I mean, my cap with the same thing on it. I'm not wearing a helmet anymore, but so there we go. So
Mike Ashley's on a big kick to bring the green back to the tartan plaid, by the way. So he's all over.
Now that's just a plaid part. That would be great if you had it intertwined with some of the stuff, the kilt kind of theme. Yeah. And I'll tell you this too.
Oh, it'd be great.
If you ever get a chance to come to a Radford University graduation, if you ever get a chance to come to one, it'll blow you away, particularly for those of us that are Highlanders, because they bring out the bagpipes. They bring out the bagpipes as they do the walk toward Moffitt Field onto the stage. One of the nicest scenes you'll ever get, particularly if you get a great day, weather day. So we got a bunch of traditions there that I think we shouldn't lose, because as I watch all these games now, whether it's Maryland's band, you hear that song, you've known it, Wake Forest's band. And the reason we know it is because we watch all those ACC games all those years, and those noises were in the background. Carolina's theme, NC State's theme. So I'm about tradition. And if you look at the NCAA tournament, Rick, all that's left are big boys. All that's left are the Power 4 schools to speak of. I mean, VCU tried, and I watched that game. Illinois were just it's like moving a condominium. They were just much more physical in the whole bit. Not that they couldn't do it. I think of all the teams that could have broke through, doggone High Point was the one that almost was the one that did it. And so
they should have.
So there's a lot of there's a lot of conversation around what the state of the NCAA is. I'm bouncing around on you here this morning. I feel like, though, you're getting exactly what you expect. If you're going to be able to pay for really good players and with no guardrails, then it's almost like the same thing that would happen if football had no cap. If football had no salary cap, the NFL had no salary cap, then
it would be baseball. Yeah,
it would be baseball. It would be baseball. And so why people can't see that, I don't know. People smarter than me are going to have to sit down and figure out how they want it to be. But what I will say, though, Rick, is, and you know me, I keep it to the bottom line. The games and the sport itself was fantastic last weekend. I think I heard you say ratings were phenomenal.
The highest Thursday, they reported the highest Thursday overall viewing every section of games that they've ever had.
And the games, and once the games finally start, Rick, we don't have any problems. We don't have any problems.
Yeah.
And so like it's hard to believe sometimes that guys are running around out there on $4 and $5 million contracts. College players.
I know.
But Rick, fortunately though, with very, very, very few exceptions, the product doesn't look watered down because they're in that. It's like they're just in the moment and playing it butt off. You think about Texas, from first 4 to Sweet 16, Texas. And Sean Miller took that job, and a lot of people, and they were struggling, and that SEC was giving them the business. And then all of a sudden they've gotten hot, and here they are. I think they're going to end up playing Purdue. I think that's the first game tonight, I believe it is. So when you start thinking about this thing, that the players and all are fine. They're not affected by the money. What I think is impossible is, how in the world is a coach now ever going to get an extension? Why would you ever give a coach? You can't give him so it used to be, well, if you don't give him an extension, recruits will think that he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Well, they go away anyway. So
they don't care. They don't care. Yeah.
So now it's going to be, I think there's going to be it's going to have to be a whole shift in the whole thing. And I believe down the road at some point they're going to have to do it. It's just going to have to be an employee-based thing. And then I think the separation of the top versus everybody else. Hey, Power 4, go do your thing. We'll see you at the tournament. The rest of us will vie for our own thing. And down the road, that's what I see it being.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to make – I don't think it's going to be any movement until the breakaway happens between when the SEC and the big – and then when that happens, then you'll start to see rules start to fall in.
That's what I mean. I think – and football is going to lead that charge.
Oh, yeah.
And football will lead that charge. And that – but by the way, also, I heard you say this before too, so I bring a lot of these topics because I can't talk while I'm driving during the day. But I hear you. I'm not as bothered by I don't want the tournament to expand, but it wouldn't break my heart if it did, Rick, because I'm reminded of, and I'm an old baseball guy too, I'm reminded of the purists that thought that the wild card would doom Major League Baseball. They thought that would be the end of it. Well, if you think back, Rick, if you remember this, and I'm sure you do as a Padres fan, the baseball playoffs only used to be a couple teams.
It was division winners.
It was it.
Division winners, yeah.
That was it. And so then they expanded, and now they're at 6. And I can't begin to tell you how great that one-and-done game is. It's added to baseball. I hadn't taken anything away from it, in my opinion. It's added more teams down the stretch to fight for it. So that means there's more relevancy in the games. Now, college basketball adding another day is, in essence, what it'll probably be. It'll still be buzzer beaters. There'll still be people vying for it. I don't think it'll bother it too much at all. Now, don't go to 128, please.
And
but I think the numbers, that's too much. That would be 128 is not needed. But if you go to anywhere between 68 now to maybe 90, which would be a day, one more day. If you added a day, and then you probably get rid of the play-in day that's already Tuesday and Wednesday, which for the teams that like us that got in it and got that free time with no other team playing, I would miss. But if you added that, that would be enough. But don't go any further than the 90-some. But they'll screw it up.
Yeah, they'll screw it up. I think it takes away from the regular season. I don't think it's going to open up many more doors for mid-majors. If they go 90, it's just for the power leagues to put more of their teams in.
Rick, don't you think then that someone's got to bang and say, you're going to get a bigger piece, but let us get a 1+ or something to that. And if you add 30 more teams, I know why you're saying it, because they're the ones that's got the biggest, they wield the biggest axe.
Yeah, that's what they want.
So I just feel like then that's where everyone who wants to agree to it, even though we're down here going, hey, don't forget about us. You can also say, hey, High Point's shown it can do it. Hey, Winthrop shown it can do it.
Exactly.
Let's not make it. You don't want to trim this down to the percentage of us getting in instead of 1/68th of it, that it's now going to be 1/96th. It needs to be, you got to make sure we can get at least 2 on the table. You're still going to get a bigger piece of it. So that's the hope anyway, Rick. That's the hope. So we'll see.
No, they're going to screw it up.
Moving around.
They're going to screw it up. Yeah. I have no faith in anyone running college athletics. It's gone. But, speaking of which, I know you're a Carolina guy. Hubert Davis is out. Not a big surprise. It kind of felt like the meltdown he had after their loss kind of indicated that. I got a text from a coach said Hubert's gone. So what is your take, and who do you think? Who would you like to see down in Carolina?
First with Hubert, it's kind of unfortunate how it never, I don't know that it ever was like Carolina fan consensus, ever. No. Even when they were making success, they were rooting for the brand. And I can't really explain why, because when Hubert was on ESPN, he was fantastic. He was fun. I didn't realize he had that much personality, because Hubert was always a quiet guy. He went about his business. People forget he played 12 years in the NBA. 12 years. Played with those Knicks teams with Pat Riley. He played with Don Nelson. He carved out a great career, and he probably in the pantheon of Carolina players isn't one of the top 20 you think of around all-time great. But he carved out a 12-year career, and the NBA didn't need to keep people then. So he must have been good enough to have earned it, parlayed it into a broadcasting career, and then he got into coaching. But I think even when Roy stepped down, the fact that it went right to Hubert, it kind of shocked a lot of people, because he hadn't had coaching experience. And that was one of the things. But he kept on brand. He brought all of his guys, Pat Sullivan, Jeff Lebo, Sean May, all those guys. They fit the Carolina narrative, so it was safe. And then he gets to the Final Four, and he wins against Coach K. He beats Coach K and Dukes in his final game in Cameron. So all that was kind of like, it's eerily similar to people who start out hot and you say, oh, this is good. But boy, people forget, right? I just don't ever feel like, and I got a lot of buddies that are Carolina fans, some more embedded than others, that never really thought that way about him. It's hard to describe. Maybe you sense that too, Rick. They just never did.
I told the story the other day. It was weird. 2 years, the last time we played and he was down there, he did the pregame interview and he was fine, right? It was,
right.
This past time we had it lined up, and as we're pulling in, walking into the Dean Dome, the SID texts me, he says, "Hey, Coach Davis just said he can't do the interview now." And I'm like, okay, all right, well, I have to adjust things. And then we get up there, and I'm like, whatever, and then we get up there, we're setting up. He comes up and he apologizes again, and he goes, "Hey, listen, we're used to it. It's just that's what we get every day with him." So I thought about that comment, and then I'm thinking of what happened, and what you're saying is exactly right. I don't think something happened there with him to where it never really, something didn't catch on, and it really, his personality is not anything near what it was when he was on TV. I mean, he just, I don't know what that post-game press conference was, but it kind of falls in line with the impression I think he was given around the department. So
well, and then I was hearing other reports too. Sometimes when I can't sleep, I just read, and I saw a couple reports of his unwillingness or inability to want to interact with boosters, which nowadays is as important as X's and O's, because by George, they're funding the thing. Absolutely. So if you want to call it tail wagging the dog all you want, this is the bed that's been made, ladies and gentlemen. And I promise you right now, this isn't just one owner like in the pro sports that's cutting the checks. This could be Mr. Shipyard owner. He's big time, and he wants to have lunch today. And I expect you to go over. I know you don't want to go to the football game. It's 100 degrees a day, but you're going to go to the football game today. And these are examples, not that it actually happened, but these are the kind of things I imagine you have to do now if you're going to try to pony up a $10 to $15 million roster.
Absolutely.
So if you're not into all that, you shouldn't sign up for this. Now there's reports that wasn't his strength and those kinds of things, and who knows how erroneous they are. I just know that they're just from the optics of it appeared to be something that they didn't see in him. He had a little shorter leash. Listen, every basketball coach gets criticized, every single one. I sit right beside you at the Radford games, and I look at every coach that's there. Why won't he play this one? What was he thinking? It's just, we don't even know. I mean, we breathe, we have an opinion. It's just what we do. But boy, when you're in that Carolina blue, it gets magnified. And I think it just was one that never seemed to really resonate with fans. No. I mean, he's 24 and the record is great. Rick, you and I talked about this with like Mike Tomlin. Said, why are people getting on Mike Tomlin? I said, he's doing this and that and the other, but people felt he should go. But you and I defended him a lot of the ways because we also know there is something about something that coaches have, record or not. And in Hubert's case, it wasn't just record. It just wasn't connecting. Now, who I think they should get, as soon as they announced it, I thought of the very one that's been kind of the most prominent one. And then the second one that came up, Billy Donovan is the guy that can walk in the building.
Day one.
and by the way, without a level of arrogance, but just with his chops. He's done it forever. Since now the family thing is over, there is no more pipeline of the Carolina family. That's exhausted now.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Yeah.
That's not going to happen. There is no more. And I think even Carolina fans are like, bro, we've tapped out.
It's time to go away from that. Yes.
We've got to go. So to me, Billy Donovan is the guy that could walk in, and he could be Nick Saban-ish from I've left the pros, even though Saban was short. Now I'm coming back to college, really excited about being here. The NIL won't shock him. Billy's been dealing with salaries forever.
He's not going to care.
It's a layup to do that. That one. And then the other one, Brad Stevens, is the one they're talking about. Brad Stevens has got it going with Boston. Now,
I know.
But people don't remember, or maybe they do, he was at Butler and he left to go to the Celtics. It was shocking. It was shocking because he was this guy that looked mild and meek. He looked professorial. You thought he's going to go to the league. That league is going to – what's he going to do up there with those knotheads? And all he did was turn it out. He has performed wonderfully. And so, dopes like us that look at the optics and think we know everything and don't know enough, that's a guy that could come back and really do it now because he like Billy Donovan, can also say to players, oh, so this NBA you all are talking about, let me tell you how it really works. Let me show you how to get up in here and do it. And so those two resonate with me. When you get to the college coaches, Rick, it's just going to have to be who they think is best. The Nate Oates thing seems fine. It seems fine. He'll do fine. He'll just have to prove it to that fan base. And I'm one of them. I've been a Carolina fan since the 70s. I'm that Phil Ford guy and that Walter Davis guy and that Tommy Lagarde guy. Even though I grew up near Charlottesville, 50 miles away, I'm a Carolina fan and I understand all that. But you've had a pretty good run. Dean Smith, took it forever, and you get a little Bill Guthridge, little Matt Doherty, a little Roy Williams. But it's like Pebbles and I were talking. Matt Doherty won a national championship and coached there, and he brought in McCants and Sean May and Raymond Felton, but they said to him, it's not working. In fact, that was a bit of a surprise. Like, if you remember that,
he was out quick.
No, he had brought that great class in, and he was just gone.
He was done. See ya.
Rick, I remember getting a phone call from a couple of buddies of mine when it was going down, and I go, wait a minute. I go, they're firing him. Because we didn't see the things that we ended up hearing about that was going on in the background. But once again, it's not just X's and O's when you coach these days. It's a whole myriad of things. And so I see it that way, Rick. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I can't imagine it's going to go much longer. But I will say this in closing. You're not going to fire Hubert unless you had another plan ready to go.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Because you could have brought Hubert back and said, I'm not going to extend him. And we said, we're going to give you one more deal. But it was also talk that he wasn't going to change his staff, which no one's ever going to fire their guys. So at that particular point, you're going to make them fire him. And in Hubert's case, hey, man, you going to make changes? I'm not going to make changes. Well, you're making me have to do this. Well, you do what you got to do. And so I think that would have been the plan had they not had a plan. So Carolina can't be up in here without a plan. That's my thinking on it.
No, that's why I think it could be someone like Donovan. But anybody in the Sweet 16 they might be talking to is going to lie. So they may have already had a deal worked out, whether it's Otzenberger, whether it's whoever it might be. But I feel like it feels like it's somebody like Donovan. It just I don't know. I don't know why. It just feels like
same. I feel the same way. I feel like Carolina knows. Okay, we took the smooth road over here. It was I remember it was April Fool's Day when Roy Williams announced it. I remember thinking, well, this must be a joke. Pebbles was like, did you see this? And I go, it's a joke. Davis. If you remember, it was right at the height of kind of COVID was ending. It was kind of like weird, a press conference, everybody sitting way apart. And I go, this can't be real. And they say, well, here it is. Hubert's going to get it. I go, oh, okay. Yeah. So, okay. Right. It was right, Rick?
Maybe that's what it was that never wore off, did it? That whole
I guess. And Rick, to his credit, and I'm going long on this, even when he took them to the Final Four and they were up double figures on Kansas in the championship game, even with that against Kansas, the game they should have won, by the way. They should have won that game, the Caleb Love, R.J. Davis group with Baycott. It just never really resonated. And that happens at times with people. There's just times when it just doesn't connect for whatever reason. And now I'm hearing these things like stuff that happened with you in the interview. He just, and sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah. I always like to talk to fans when I go to a place. Carolina, we're up in the Crow's Nest. Because you came up, we saw you up there. Then there's people sitting right beside us, right? And I just like to talk, and they were none of them were speaking highly of Hubert. So it was interesting, that whole little. Matter of fact, I think I told Neil in the van, I said, I bet you if they don't have Final Four run, I bet you he won't be the coach. Just the vibe. And sure enough, he gets fired. So.
My sisters love the sport through all of us that have played, my brother and I, and my mom, we are all Carolina fans. Weird. We grew up in Amherst, and it's 50 minutes from Charlottesville. We're all Carolina fans. Yeah. And my text thread, when it happened, they were kind of like, it's time.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I mean, and what gets lost in is Caleb Wilson had them on a run that probably could have got them to today, tomorrow, whatever it is, and beyond. And without him, no one really says, well, you didn't have Caleb. No, they're all saying, no, guess what? Caleb or not.
You're done.
They were waiting. Don't you feel they were waiting on a reason to clean this up, Rick? They were just waiting on it.
Kind of felt that way. Yeah. But the pressure's on that administration. I think they've butchered the whole Belichick, the whole Belichick thing is not. That's been such a. I still can't believe what's gone on down there.
I can't believe they've allowed that to happen like that.
I don't. So they have to get this one right, and this is one of the few schools in the country where the basketball hire is more important than the football hire. I'm sorry,
and it is. And they're talking about they're trying to get a new building. So now they're trying to decide if they're going to keep Smith Center, if they're going to build. And so you've got all that going on. You also have a situation where normally football costs the most, but it's not the thing. And so you don't want to have it screwed up. And so you have Mac Brown in, and they're changing. I think athletic directors. I think Bubba Cunningham's leaving after this year.
Yeah, right.
So you've got the interim AD, I think, involved in this. Yeah. So Bubba's like, here's your keys, bro. you got Bill, and God bless if you can't get him out with a crowbar, and that girl of his, and so that's just
bye.
You don't want to be a meme. And if you're Carolina, your brand is iconic. Everything about it is legendary. So get this basketball hire right. Get some of that noise tempered. Belichick go win 6 games. You never thought you'd hear us talk about Bill Belichick as can you win 6 ACC football games? Can you win 6 games? I mean, people forget last year they started the season against TCU. Jordan's at the game and everything, and they got mollywopped. They were gone. Jordan and everybody. By fourth quarter, there was more people watching this program than was at that game.
And he never came back. Jordan never came back.
I hadn't seen him.
Okay, bye.
He went to his racetrack. He said, "Let me get this racing thing figured out." So, yeah, man. So we'll see. Hilarious.
Yeah, it is. It is. So what do you think? What game? I think I have picked out St. John's and Duke tomorrow. If baseball does move, which I'm hoping it does, I think that's the game I'm looking most forward to of this Sweet 16. I mean, there's some good matchups, but that one really just I can't wait for that one. So
I'm so glad I brought my bracket over here. I moved from 53rd to 16th in the BDST standings.
Hey.
My team is still in it. I got Arizona over St. John's in the championship. So that means I've got St. John's beating Duke.
I know who you're rooting for. Well, you would do it anyway as a Carolina guy.
As a Carolina guy. But unlike others, I'm not so anti-Duke. I kind of don't mind Duke being okay because, listen, we talked about it, Rick, with High Point in our league. They're big and they're gigantic, but it sure is fun to beat them. It sure is fun to play them. But I got St. John's, Duke, but that Michigan State UConn game, how about Washington, D.C.? You got Duke and St. John's, Michigan State and UConn in the second game. Good luck getting tickets in D.C. anyway with hotels. Not happening. Arizona, Arkansas, sneaky good game too. We got Acuff going against Arizona's team with Cole Pete and that group. Texas has snuck in against Purdue. What in the world? Purdue and Iowa has snuck into this thing, Rick. And Illinois, I paid not enough attention to the Big Ten this year. Yep. You think about Purdue, Michigan, Iowa, and Michigan State. It's just
great basketball league. Yep.
They're just dudes. But Rick, what is it also? Follow what? They paying them well. But I think also too, Rick, what you find is look at the experienced coaches. I heard David Teal talk about it yesterday. All these experienced coaches.
Senior Citizens Classic, yeah.
but think about it though, Rick. It's kind of crazy. So now you can pay for the best talent. Whatever method you used to do to recruit the best talent, now you're paying for the best talent. Now you got coaches who can coach, and now you got the best talent that you can coach the best. So guess what ends up happening? You now have the best teams. And so this is what's happened. It took Pitino just a couple years to get his team together. And then you get Florida getting clipped the other day, which is incredible if you think about it. And you got Iowa in that bracket. And then, of course, Illinois and Houston. I mean, Rick, let's think about it. There's probably 5 or 6 games that are worthy of being regional finals that are going to be regional semifinal games.
That are in the Sweet 16, yeah.
And quietly, who I have going to the Final Four is that Iowa State team. That Iowa State team is incredible. They do an incredible job, too. So, for me, I did pick St. John's in Florida in the Final Four, so I'm down one team. But Arizona and Iowa State, I've got on the other side of the bracket to get to the Final Four. So for me, Rick, I guess if I had to say which game I was going to look at the most this weekend, probably the East with Duke and St. John's.
And Iowa State may have your next head coach down in Chapel Hill, so keep an eye out for that. He emerged. For some reason, yesterday he emerged. It was weird. That's
How do you emerge? How do you emerge?
Agent. I talked to Todd Grantham about it. He goes, whenever you see that, that's the agent.
He's lobbing it.
He talks to all the media outlets, correct? Not the coach. It's not the coach. It's
he can't do it because that way he doesn't have to lie. He doesn't have to say I. Now, Rick, he could be doing that for posturing for his own deal too. So
Correct.
that's fine too. So guess what?
Correct.
This is one of those where if they're saying your name, you can say to your family, we can get another boat. because one way or the other, daddy's gonna be all right after this. If they talking about me, that means we're gonna get another boat because we're moving, or we're gonna get another boat because we're staying.
100%.
Either way it goes. And guess what? It is fine by me. Go get, if they're willing to pay you. It's just like we talk about paying for players and all these kinds of things. And I don't love the fact that they're chasing monies and all those things. But I've said it before, and it usually people don't love it. If someone would have offered me money as a college basketball player that was legit, where I'm from, could have helped my family in a lot of different ways. You think about the backgrounds of some of these folks, man. Folks come from a lot of things out here, man. I see a lot of stories where people go places and don't even have a suit. They have to go and somebody has to buy them a suit. You think about that. To being able to say, my talent's going to allow me to do this. Fine. If you don't if you want guardrails on it, you better put guardrails on it. But don't be mad at a player for being able to get this, because a lot of them may not make the league, Rick. And at that particular point, it's a jump start to their lives and that kind of thing. Now, the amount of movement, the portal stuff, I still feel like if you're given a scholarship, you can have some regulation on how much movement can happen. Others say how you legally tell a person they can't go. I don't know. But if I'm scholarshiping you, though, don't you feel like I should be able to say it comes with this, or you have to? I don't know, but I want it to be legal. I don't want it to be wonky. Just find a legal way to do it.
I don't know why the schools have given all the power to the athletes so effortlessly. The NCAA, the school, there's nothing right now in place legally that says the school can't say, all right, you know what? We're done. Here's your professional contract. Yes, we're going to be able to have some money for you. Here it is. Do you accept this or not? Good. We'll get somebody who will. Somebody needs to step up and do that. The SEC or the Big Ten could really start that, but they don't seem like they're interested. So.
Has to be legal, though. That's where you can't separate them from what you do for students, even though you're scholarshiping them. That's where I've asked people about that. I said, why can't we? They say, bro, you can't tell people what not to do. A journalism student can go from one to the other without any hiccups. But what role does a scholarship play in it? And they say, well, there was a 1 year to year anyway. So I just hope we can get to the middle on it, Rick, and make it great. But
yeah, me too.
But in the meantime, we'll just enjoy the basketball that we got. And I'm glad we paused on football, because this NCAA is kind of taking
it's kind of taking its own life. So it's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Well, good stuff, brother, as always. I know you'll enjoy the games, and we'll see what we're looking like after Sunday when we're in the Final Four. So
Final Four, yeah. And shout out to the ladies hoop team, man. It was a good WNIT run. And shout out to you all, Rick. What an incredible atmosphere on Friday night at Radford University.
Yeah, it was fun.
You guys, I know y'all worked hard all week on that. It turned out incredible. I hope we can build on that. And those ladies are fun to watch. Fun to watch, and hopefully you guys got a chance to come out and see them. And so shout out to all of our teams.
Yep.
And baseball and softball and lacrosse and track, onward and upward, brother.
Onward and upward. It was good to see you guys, by the way, Friday. Great to see you.
No questions. And you as always, brother. Yes, sir.
Well, man, you stay safe. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games. I'm sure we'll be shooting texts back and forth this weekend.
Got to have them. Keep them coming, brother.
I will, man. Be good. Take care.
All right, boy. Yes, sir.
David Smith, great stuff. You can just sit here and just talk to David the rest of the show. It wouldn't matter. I could bring up a random movie. David's probably seen it, and then we could get into the aspects of the movie. Yeah, he's great. Love that guy. He's great. But, he's a much better person than he is analyst, and that's saying a lot, because he's excellent. He's better than anybody you're going to watch on TV. I'm telling you that right now. That's just the way it is. Andy Bitter going to join us next. I'm sending him the invite right now. And then Alex Guerra, Radford Baseball. We'll talk about it. It's a big series coming up. Longwood's really good, and Radford's hosting them this weekend. So come out to Williams Field and hang out with us. Morris is echoing my sentiments about David Smith. I don't want to give him that idea, though, Morris. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios here in Ryder, 540-200-8294. McClellan Chiropractic, Mark Hundley, I mentioned him, right off of Walters Drive. Going to head out there here in a few weeks. Professional Door Incorporated, sponsor of our text line, Travis Williams, 540-391-0788. BDST fan question of the week. And it's turned into, with Ryan Pry, the attorney, it's turned into everybody just picking St. John's. That was going to be the question of your upset. So St. John's is going to win because I've had like 15 people pick St. John's, who's going to be the surprise team to come out of this weekend. We're presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, thanks to Jonathan Sweet and Tim Miller, Charles Lee, and all the great folks at Little River Heating and Air. They are the best at what they do. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of me and this program. We mentioned the Ready Set Fund with Bob Christ, BOBCRST11@gmail. Ready Set Fund is how you can raise money for your organization. Floyd County Girls Softball Team used them for 5 days on their text message product, and they got $4,300. Brand new uniforms. Awesome. And Sundown Electric, our newest sponsor. Great reputation, long list of satisfied clients, superior craftsmanship. They're located over in Elliston, but they're all over the place. Thanks to the Smith brothers for their support. NRV Super Bowl, Lawson's Mobile Home Supply. Couldn't do the show without you, like literally, because this studio is expensive. We segue from David Smith to Andy Bitter joining us. There he is, the lead writer for Tech Sideline, and he's got football stuff to talk about. Yay, what's going on, AB? How are you, man?
I'm pretty good. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. I know it's early, but little more access than maybe we expected. What have you kind of got a vibes for so far? What you've watched and what you're hearing out of the program?
I think the last practice we went to, they were full pads, so it's a little bit more physical, and you can see stuff out there. And I think Franklin really gets into it when it gets physical like that. They were doing one drill where everybody starts laying down and they get up and they collide and. It's not an Oklahoma drill or anything like that. They get up, they collide. It's the tight end pulling to try to block on the edge. And Jerikas Hairston made a good block on that. And Franklin sprinted across the field to get in his face and congratulate him on a good play like that. I think he really enjoys the contact nature of football. And when they get to do that in practice, he gets very excited about that because, he says that, this is, players are raised in a 7-on-7 type environment. So this is real football. You get out there and you see who the real players are when they have the pads on like that. And he's going to congratulate players when they do a play like that.
I had like 4 questions pre-asking you. What does Andy think of the quarterbacks? Well, they haven't been really tested in terms of like pressure, but what do you think? I know they got some guys who can throw it, but what have you liked from the quarterback room?
Yeah, I just think it's a solid room. I think they deliver the ball better than the previous group did too. Just, you look at how they throw, they look a lot more comfortable getting to the receivers. The brief competitive period that we saw last time where it was actually like receivers versus defensive backs in the goal line, a lot more plays were being made by the receivers. And I don't think that's an accident. I think that the ball was being put in a more catchable spot and they were making plays on it. So I think there's a lot more upside with this passing game right now. Now I'm not going to say that they're, best in the country or they're going to go out and throw for 300 yards a game or something like that. But I think it's just a lot more capable. Especially when you look at the lead guy, Ethan Grunkemeyer. I think that's his forte is that he puts the ball in the right spot. He's a high completion type guy. And, when's the last time they've had a really high completion percentage type guy at Virginia Tech? It feels like it's been a minute. And I guess Hendon Hooker had some pretty good completion numbers when he was here, but I never viewed him as like the high volume passer, at least not when he was at Virginia Tech. They kind of guarded what he could do and were very careful with him. And that's part of the reason why he had a high percentage. I think Grunkemeyer might be able to set some Virginia Tech records, honestly, with completion percentage if he can perform like he did last year at Penn State.
Billy just thanking you, AB. This is cool. Hey, tell AB we love him on the show. We read all of his stuff. He is the voice for our readership for Tech football. Thanks, Billy. There you go. See you there. People listen. You're the guy, man. That's awesome. Thanks, Billy.
Bill Roth is the voice of the Hokies. I'll be the voice of the readership.
You're the voice.
I'm going to put that on my Twitter account, I think.
You should, Billy. Is that okay? Let me know. And he's going to steal that. Brandon asked AB, what is the last good quarterback room in your opinion over the last 10 years? Wow, that's a good question. What do you think?
It depends on how you define good. Drones was good that first year when he performed. and then just it never quite got back to that level after that. Hendon Hooker was good for parts of that one year, but he was in and out of the lineup the whole time. So it's tough to say that was a good room. I mean, a good room was Gerard Evans. Didn't matter who else was in the room. Gerard was a really excellent quarterback.
Yeah,
you look at that first year, 2016, you've got Gerard Evans. Brendan Motley came in and made some plays when they needed him, especially up at Pittsburgh, especially when Gerard got hurt.
He did, yeah.
Brendan Motley stepped into some tough, critical situations and got some first downs when they needed it. So maybe that's the one you felt pretty good about. I mean, Josh Jackson was a freshman at that point, didn't play, but his redshirt freshman year, he was pretty good when he went out there as a redshirt freshman. So I don't know. Good is a tough way to define it because they had some years where guys put up numbers, but I don't necessarily feel like the room was good. I know this one feels good compared to recent years. I mean, last year, bit of a struggle. A couple years ago, Grant Wells transitioning to Kyron Drones. Fuentes last year, I think, was one of the worst ones that they had, where it was Burmeister and Connor Blumrick and Knox Kadum, where it's like, I don't know if that seems like a receiver and a tight end and somebody who played at the FCS level primarily. That doesn't feel like a Power 5 quarterback room at that point. So this feels like a significant upgrade from that for sure.
Tight ends, people have been, the expectation there. Why not? With the way Franklin's used them and who they brought in, there's depth there. I mean, we're going to see the tight end prominently. Has that shown up so far, what you've seen, the limited time you've watched?
I'm very intrigued by that group. It's bigger than they've had in recent memory. I mean, last year there were 3 or 4 guys, it felt like, in the tight end room, and now there's 6 or 7. It's a very vastly improved group in terms of size. And you look at the top of the group, Benji Gosnell's 5th-year senior. Luke Reynolds was a 5-star guy when he was recruited to Penn State. And, I've only seen limited amount of action from him, but he looks like a pretty impressive pass catcher out there. Made a big catch at the goal line over Sherrod Koval and let him know about it after the play. Sort of some attitude there on top of that. I thought that was interesting to see. Jerikas Hairston, one of the best walk-on success stories they've had recently. Coming up here and I think he got 3 or 4 touchdowns last year, played a big role in the passing game and improving as a blocker. Beyond that, Harrison St. Germain, Matt Henderson, it feels like there are more options there. When your offensive coordinator is the tight ends coach, that the tight ends are not going to be ignored in this offense. That's always been Penn State's MO, is they put a lot of those guys out there. They've had a history of success. Tyler Warren, most recently, their big success story, the first-round pick in the NFL draft. They did all sorts of things with him. They put him in Wildcat. They ran him as a receiver. They ran him as a tight end. They did just whatever way they could to get the ball to him, they would, because he was such a tremendous athlete. I don't know if they have a player like that on this roster, but I think they have a deep group that I think they can dip into that in a way that Virginia Tech hasn't really done in recent years. I mean, last year the tight end was fairly invisible. Benji Gosnell did not get a lot of opportunities. No. So I think that's going to change this year.
Yeah, I do too. Phil Almation thinks Benji's a pro. He thinks he's going to be on an NFL roster for a while. He loves the way he blocks and things like that. I think that's what I'm most excited about, to see that part of the offense come back, because it was so good under Coach Beamer all those years. It's going to be great, I think, to see that again. So that's good to hear. It's good to hear. And everybody's so excited about Reynolds. They think he's going to just be a superstar. He might be.
Yeah, I mean, you think about mentality for an offensive coordinator, and who was the last offensive coordinator here that really loved the tight ends? It was Scott Loeffler.
Yeah.
And his last year here, one of his last years, I can't remember exactly the order, but Ryan Malik and Bucky Hodges, even though when Bucky was actually a tight end, Fuente comes in and Bucky becomes a slot receiver.
Yeah,
right. He never put his hand on the ground at all. It was not a tight end. They always do like, oh, Bucky broke Mike Burnup's tight end records here. It's like well, he was a receiver for 3 of those years. I don't know if we can call it the same category there, but that first year that he played tight end, he was legitimately tight end, and big passing weapon. Ryan Mallett was too. Leffler had some beautiful plays that he called up for the tight end. It was one against Ohio State in that season opener where they just completely went against the grain, and I think it was Mallett that slipped out to the other side, and Brewer threw it back across the play to him, and he was wide open for the first half. Those were the type of plays that was really common in that kind of offense. Then Fuente comes in, and they change it, more wide receivers, less of a traditional tight end. Dalton Keene did pretty well when he was here.
Yeah.
But he was more of like an H-back type.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see the return of like old school tight ends in the Franklin era.
Well, that's good news. Now the offensive line. It's early. It's always a huge question. I know you've talked about it a lot. It has to be good. They have enough bodies there. What do you think about what you've seen so far early from those guys?
Yeah, I think it's tough to say because guys are going to move around. I see somebody mentions James Mitchell. Yes, I should mention James Mitchell, the NFL guy that they had as a tight end.
That's right.
He was pretty dang good here,
Yeah.
but even they ran the ball with him.
They did.
The tight end. He was a punt returner at some point. But back to the offense. Back to the offensive line. I think they're going to mix and match early on. I mean, right now they have Johnny Garrett playing guard, and they have Montavious Cunningham playing tackle. And, that's unusual for Garrett. He hasn't played guard the entire time that he's been here. I think he's been mostly tackle. Is that going to be a permanent situation? Is that something that's just the spring? I know Matt Moore last year looked at Tomas Rimac at tackle for most of the spring. And then I think he played guard most of the season. He moved around a lot, but I think he settled in at guard. And, we asked Matt Moore about that, and he's like, well, I know what he could do at guard. We've seen that before. I need to get a full evaluation of what he could do at tackle to see if that's the best situation. So we haven't talked I haven't had a chance to talk to Matt Moore this spring yet, but I feel like it's kind of the same thing. I'm going to put guys in different situations to see what they can do. They got some injuries right now. I think Logan Howland is out. Justin Terry I think he's out. I think he's been in a non-contact jersey for some of these practices. These are guys that could factor in into the lineup if they're healthy. So, that's more options. Maybe you get 7-8 guys that could possibly play once you have a full complement of players. But right now they're going to figure out where guys can fit, if they can play certain positions, and then get to the fall and sort it out, get your 5 and go with that. But I think it's going to be a while until they get to that number.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, and that's so crucial. They haven't had that for so long. And boy, if they could create that on top of all the other positives on the offensive side, boy, that potentially could be a big development for them. What about the other side? What stood out? You didn't stand out defensively. We've talked about positions before, but did any guys stand out that you saw?
Well, Tuesday was such a brief amount, and it wasn't a lot of one-on-one stuff. And actually, the defensive guys were outside. They're doing it now where we have to be on the far sideline, not the inner sideline. So they get from one side to the other. It takes like a full period to walk all the way to the other side. So we just kind of stuck with most of the offensive players on that one. So I didn't really get to see much of the defense. I think I'm intrigued by this cornerback group. You bring in Jaquez White, you bring in Cam Chadwick. I mean, those could be your starters at cornerback. IBM, I think, played pretty well last year relative to what I thought he could do. I thought he was going to be just mostly nickel. They played him as a regular cornerback. I think he might be that nickelback this year if that's in fact a starting job. And then, Thomas Williams get a lot of experience last year. Josh Clark coming back from an injury, I think could factor in there as well. Amari Polidor, a young guy. I think I have that right. I think he made some plays out there that are interesting to see, that you wonder, hey, could that guy get into the mix as well? And I've named 5 or 6 guys there, where last year they were struggling to get 2 on the field. They had injuries to, Clark tore his ACL in the spring. I confused him and JoJo Krim on this show last week, so I apologize for that. Clark tore his ACL last spring, missed the entire season. Caleb Brown hurt his shoulder, didn't play much all year. Dante Lovett went into the transfer portal. That's 3 guys that you thought were going to play and that were gone. So they were scrambling to fill out a cornerback group. And that was such a drop-off from Dorian Strong and Mansour Delane, 2 NFL guys. Mansour perhaps like the 10th pick in the draft coming up. My goodness, the draft stock that's rising with him. So I think it's going to be improved cornerback play just because you have more options, and those new guys are really going to raise the level of the room.
What was the question from Wayne here? What is the number one question we need to resolve, AB? Is it offensive line, corner, secondary? What is the number one
O-line
question? O-line,
yeah. I think after the way it played last year and the just utter lack of pass protection that it had throughout the season, you can't have that as an offense. It just ruins everything before it starts. And they had a pretty good running back last year, Marcellus Hawkins. I think Aiden Green is a pretty good receiver. Tight ends, we've mentioned that the talent that they have in that room. I think they've got a good quarterback in Grunkemeyer that they can build around, but he's not a mobile guy necessarily. He moves better than I thought. He's not a statue back there, but he's not a guy that's going to run for 80 yards a game or anything like that. So you need to protect him. And if they don't have that protection, and they haven't lately in that offensive line group, then it doesn't matter the other stuff that you try to do on offense.
That's right.
It collapses on itself. So as it seems to be all the time at Virginia Tech, it's offensive line. That's how the offense is going to go. It is how that group develops.
A couple of people read your piece about A.J. Brand. I mean, I like that, the fact that, you stuck down the quarterback depth. You're not going to be that guy, but, hey, you're too good of a player to leave off the field, and he wanted to change positions. It's kind of nice to see that back and forth, and the guy going to get a chance to show what he can do now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, something was going to give there. They had 3 redshirt freshmen in the quarterback room and a true freshman. I mean, those guys are all the same amount of eligibility left when you're looking at it. That just can't stand. I mean, it's either going to resolve itself through the transfer portal or it's going to resolve itself through a position change. So I think they're sort of heading off the transfer portal conversation by getting a position change right now. And you look at A.J. Brand's history and what he did at Irmo High School, I believe it was, in South Carolina. And he accounted for like 11,000 yards as a quarterback in high school. You don't do that just by throwing. He ran for a lot of those yards. Tremendous athlete. I think he was recruited by a lot of schools as an athlete. I guess perhaps I'm a little surprised that it wasn't safety, that they didn't try moving him to safety, but it sounds like offense is in his blood, and that's sort of what he wants to do. And Franklin's going to try to accommodate that. So they're going to try him at receiver. He's got good size. It looks like he was comfortable out there in that spot. I don't know how quickly you can adapt there after just switching, but it's good that they made the move in the spring because they give him a full off season to be able to learn it. And, maybe it gives you sort of an interesting weapon out there. Franklin mentioned Wildcat, which I think every coach is required to do in the spring, is to note somebody as a Wildcat option, perhaps, or if they're switching positions. It's like,
right.
I could do the Wildcat. It's like that might, like 3 or 4 snaps a year to do that, but it's always a big story.
Right.
But, that's a receiver out there who has throwing ability, obviously. And, how often can you see like a double pass situation or a trick play, a Philly special type thing? He'd be able to throw that pretty well if they did that. So it opens up some possibilities, and I like the move because 4 quarterbacks is a lot easier to get reps to instead of 5.
Yeah, that's true. Very, very true. I know you don't get to actually watch the scrimmage this weekend, but will you guys get a report? How's that going to work with what you find out about how guys look this Saturday?
Yeah, we'll ask players on Tuesday about it. And usually that's kind of, you try to fish for information on that. We'll see what they give. First scrimmage, it's kind of roughshod a little bit. You get out there, and I don't think the play is as sharp as possible. And, I think coaches are guarded about that information because, they have, somebody has a good game and it's like, oh, that guy's the best player on the team or something like that. It's like, no, it's 1 scrimmage out of 15 in the spring. Like they don't want it to get ahead of themselves. in terms of like promoting one single player. So I think that's why they're sort of guarded about information, but we'll try to get what we can and we'll see. And I'm sure some of that stuff kind of leaks out on the message boards anyway.
Quick thoughts before we let you go. Hubert Davis out, your Sweet 16. How's everything look? What do you think, the Carolina situation?
I mean, they have such a high standard there that you figured it was going to happen. This is a national championship caliber school, and they played for a national championship one year, but it hasn't been great since then. And I think the donors aren't going to put up with that. I mean, donors are going to put up with a lot of stuff at schools if they're underachieving, as it is. But in the NIL era, where you're cutting checks every single year that are even bigger, and these rosters have a dollar figure behind them, there's an expectation level. In Carolina, it's going to be very high. You can't lose like that to VCU in the first round and blow a 19-point lead and expect to be like, hell, everything's all good at North Carolina, especially when Duke is humming, like 8 miles away or whatever it is.
That's a good point.
Duke is the number 1 seed. They're in the Sweet 16. They haven't looked great in the NCAA tournament, but they're alive, and it wouldn't surprise me if they get to the Final Four and beyond that. So, as usual, if your rival is doing really well and you're sort of treading water or not doing as well as people hope, and they barely snuck into the tournament last year. That was a gift, basically, that they got into the tournament last year. That's an unacceptable level for North Carolina. So, I mean, man, the people that are going to be lined up for that job, these coaches might be like, I have a pretty good situation here. It's like, that might be true, but it's not North Carolina. It's not a school that has one of the blue bloods that has won a bunch of national championships.
That's a great point. I hadn't thought about that, but you're exactly right. How Duke is doing had to add pressure on that whole decision, right? We've been in a locomotive, and I know you beat them, but that doesn't matter, does that? You're right.
Well,
you're right.
And it wasn't even just that Duke is doing well. It's that Duke is doing well with its new coach. If Coach K was continuing to do what he was doing, it'd be like, all right. But it's like, well, Duke made a transition at coach, and look at them. They made an internal hire, and look at them. Look at how well they're doing. How come we're not at that level? A lot of UNC fans are beginning asking themselves that question, and they're bound to do crazy things down there. I mean, they fired Mac Brown and hired Bill Belichick, for God's sake. Imagine what they do about a sport they care about, like basketball.
True, that's right. One they actually put some time into. Your Final Four still intact? How's your bracket?
No. I went off the wall and picked Virginia to make it, and they did not get past Tennessee there. I've got Duke, Houston, and Arizona, and I have Arizona over Houston in the final. So I'm doing like a bracket thing in my class. I think I'm second to last in the class.
Are they giving you a hard time?
No, but that's not the point of the class. Right. I'm a sports writer because I can analyze stuff and give good opinions about it. Not because I'm a good picker. I would move to Las Vegas if I was a good picker. I mean, that people always confuse those two things. Like, oh, I thought you knew sports. It's like, well, I don't know sports. I'm not a clairvoyant. I can't look into a crystal ball and tell you who's going to win every game. That's a different skill set than what we're talking about here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, brother. Well, listen, great stuff as always, and we look forward to your stuff. And thanks, everybody, for the questions. And enjoy the Sweet 16 and what you get out of football practice this weekend. I know you will.
All right, I will.
All right, man. Take care. Thanks, AB.
Right, talk to you later.
All right. Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline. Thanks for the questions, everybody. That's cool. Alex Guerra going to join us here momentarily, the head baseball coach at Radford. UNC fighting to keep their basketball apparel in national markets. UNC will never have trouble with apparel as long as they have the Jumpman, the original Jumpman. Michael Jordan leading the way in their marketing. Still, somebody, I don't know where I read it. Was it like, it may have like been an official, it wasn't like, Business Insider or Wall Street Journal, but somebody estimated that Jordan's worth like $20 billion. Like, yeah, okay, I can see that. Makes sense. That makes sense. 20 billion. Now he's in NASCAR killing it. Yeah, that's probably right. That's probably right. Thanks to all of our wonderful sponsors for all of their help. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studio here in Reiner. See, that's the one that they say look like Bane. Oh, Family Fencing. Oh. You're not risking anything by asking for a free quote from Family Fencing. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of the program. Professional Door Incorporated, Travis Williams. They are our sponsor for our text line and a business that just keeps blowing up, man. And it's all because of their sponsor. No, I'm just kidding. They're the best. They are the best. Ready, Set, Fund. Go raise money for your organization or your team through Bob Chris. Check them out, ReadySetFund.com. They are awesome. Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, that is the exclusive banking partner of this the exclusive presenting sponsor of this program. Another race coming up. Races are going great. Stacey Compton was great. Experience Pulaski County. Yeah, experience them. Love that logo from Sundown Electric. Thanks to all of them. Very similar to what Travis Williams has done with his dad's business, taking it to levels never before seen. That's what they've done at Sundown Electric with the Smith brothers. Good people that care about the community. And we really appreciate their wonderful support. I couldn't do it without you. Couldn't do it without any of y'all. So thank you so much for everything that you have provided to the show. All of you who sponsors the NRV Super Bowl, Lawson's Mobile Homes Supply, the attorney Ryan Pry with our BDST fan question of the week, Little River Heating and Air, thanks to Charles Lee. Just the best. McClellan Chiropractic with Mark Hunley. I mean, Mark is so good at what he does. I'm telling you, you go out, he's great. You'll feel like you're just going to talk to a friend. And by the way, you'll walk out of there and you'll feel much better. Your body will feel a lot better. And he'll take you through a program of everything you need. I'm going to go out there and visit with him here soon. And we're going to film it. We're going to show you what it looks like so you can have a bigger comfort level and everything. So, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Thanks to everybody that helps the program so much. So very much. Dwight Vick tomorrow. Dwight called last night where he's working again. He's had back-to-back weeks where he has to work at 8 today. So he'll be on tomorrow. So we're looking forward to that. That'll be fun. Yep. You look like you're in a jail cell. Does it really look like Bane? Is that right? Kind of does, doesn't it? I get that. I need to work on my Bane, but it's a great logo, but yeah. Batman. Your fall from grace will be controlled by me. Sorry. Yes, the roof is done. It was amazing. They got here. I told you they got here yesterday at dawn. And I'm going to give them a free plug. And maybe we can work something out in the future. I've already talked to them about the show. But Sinvar is who I went with. And they were unbelievable. The crew was here yesterday. And they've finished shortly, right before 6. I haven't really seen it yet. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, unbelievable. Happy non-Netflix opening day to all who celebrate. Yeah. Nothing like Major League Baseball just kind of randomly opening on a Wednesday night on Netflix. Yeah. What in the holy hell has happened? Oh, that's right, Rob Manfred. All right. Everybody did you just catch that last night on Netflix? Just happened to be the Yankees and the Giants. Anybody? No? 7-0 was the final score. Max Fried, the former Padres farmhand who got shipped off to Atlanta now with the Yankees. But anyway. But we'll go back to the roof. Yeah. Yes. I think people in chat helped a lot. Thank you. Yes. And so did Steve, Montgomery County Board. Thank you, brother. You're awesome. Proud to be part of it here on the show. You hooked me up with Sinvar, and they were unbelievable. Unbelievable. Also joining us on the program because he's unbelievable. It's Alex Guerra, the baseball coach at Radford University. What's up, AG? Good morning,
What's
brother.
up, Rick? Good morning. How you doing,
Right, so I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. So you've gotten off to a really good start this week. You complete the sweep of James Madison. Bats came alive. Eli Hudgens with 4 hits. I mean, that's a good midweek performance, isn't it, to go on the road like that against a good team? That's a good start, brother.
Thank you. Yeah, we needed it, to be frank.
Yeah.
After Saturday and Sunday's performance, I think Monday's practice was a nice return to reality of the expectations of how we should be playing. It was a nice reminder. Let's just put it that way. Really challenging and productive practice. It was awesome. I felt like we kind of almost had a little bit of not necessarily a reset, but we were on them. There were things we were doing over the weekend that really were not very acceptable. Not acceptable to their standards.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
There's been times when you talk to a team or you talk to a group when I was an assistant coach, and I have we all have got egos, right? But I'm humble enough to know that when you're standing in front of a team and they're either 1, tired of the message, or 2, they're not really embracing it, you need to probably shut it down. And the conversations that we've had starting on Sunday night after VMI, to the multiple, in between segment sessions during practice, of the things we were trying to emphasize: the eye contact, the body language, the head nods, the just attention to the point I was trying to get across was locked in, and it showed up on Tuesday. I was really pleased with the way that we went out there and played. I thought our bats were. I thought we were relentless. I thought we had a really, really good approach. I thought we were getting good pitches to hit. The first inning did not start well by any means. Second and third, nobody out, and we have a base running blunder, and we don't execute situationally. We ground into that very unique double play, which I've never seen before in my life.
What was the DP?
It was second and third, nobody out, Brecken's up. And then we start off the game with 2 great at bats. Sonny backside base hit, Hudge double. And now we've got second and third, nobody out, with one of the best hitters in the country up. And Breck hits a ground ball to third. Sonny's supposed to see it through past the pitcher. We're not going on. This is not a contact read. It's more of a delay read. And next thing you know, Sonny's in a rundown. Hudge is going to third. As Sonny's getting tagged out, Hudge is at the bag at third, tries to run back to second base. So they basically just got into 2 different pickles. So it was like a 1, 2, 5, 4, 6.
Right.
So the wave of emotions after the first inning were, you really could almost just smirk. Like, what was that? I've never seen it live. So. But it was good it was good for us offensively to have that type of game. I thought it was a very complete game. I loved how in the back half of the game, we just continued to add.
Runs kept coming.
They just kept coming. We just kept having good at bats. To be frank, I felt like we probably should have scored more. I really wasn't very pleased with the way that we defended the field and protected the ball. Parker Noonan had his first career start as a freshman. We got to do a much better job protecting him. I think he probably could have went 7 He was that good. And
yeah,
I was so pleased with his maturity and poise and toughness to be able to go out there on the road in his first career start against a team who was recruiting him out of high school. And you're going to have those natural emotions. And he did a great job. And along with Bake and Ludi, out of the bullpen, I think our bullpen has been great. I think that's been one of the huge bright spots for us over the last couple games. And really throughout the season, but really throughout the last couple games, I think they've been excellent. So it was a great one. In-state opponent, it's important. We kind of, like I said, we dropped the ball with that over this past weekend with VMI, who's obviously they're a tough team. They do a good job, but it was a good opportunity for us to bounce back and beat an in-state opponent, which is important. So
we bring up an interesting point. Your season's the longest of any sport in college, right? I mean, it's in terms of games. That's a lot of games. It's usually 50, 55 games. So that message that you have to think about that, because you're playing so many games, you're playing so many back-to-backs. One game you have to forget about if it goes badly. If you win one, you can't let that think. You just assume it's going to go the same way. That was interesting how you've already recognized that, right? You're still young in your head coaching career, but yet you understand that because you went through it as a player too, right? You've got to make sure that stays fresh and important. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's important. I think there's different themes that you're going to have throughout the course of the season. You have different crossroads, different themes, different things are going to happen. And you've just got to be able to kind of check the temperature of the team and see what they need in that moment. And, try to keep the message as consistent as you can to the culture and to the values and the things that are important.
Right.
While also, sprinkling in a little bit of flavor of what the team needs, and whether that's, tone or adjusting the message a little bit or a specific on the field goal. But, like I said, I think Monday, I think they needed a little bit of urgency. I think they needed to have the dial turned up a little bit, and they responded. I think this team will respond to things like that. So
you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I guess it was, you were a little concerned about the offense. Well, and you kind of changed things up, right? You've left the third base coaching box because you wanted to be more involved with the hitters. And, I'm not surprised. You see Noah Toole, all of a sudden that average is turning around. It's up like 40 points. You start to see guys taking better approaches. I mean, what was it about that moment where you realized, this is something now I got to get these guys on the right track? Because it looks like it's definitely paying dividends looking at the numbers here in recent weeks. So,
yeah, I just felt like, for me, I'd be over there in the coach's box and, there's things that I would want to be able to remind these guys going to the plate. And, I've been around these guys for a lot of them for 3 and 4 years.
Yeah.
Right. So it's in knowing them in the recruiting process throughout high school. And I just felt like they needed a little bit of just a comfort as far as knowing, that a very familiar voice, not that Rome is, he's probably been here for the year. Right. But, I just felt like I wanted to be able to articulate certain points. We've got some guys that are playing for the first time. We've got some guys that are struggling for the first time. We're not having the success they needed. And I felt like I was not able to say the things that I wanted to say when you're in the third base coach's box. Because it's like a NASCAR race too. Like you go out to the field, come back in, and you've got 90 seconds. And I can't grab 3 or 4 hitters in 90 seconds. And
that's right.
Even when you grab one, it's like, okay, you've got to, you can't really get in depth or have like a back and forth conversation. It's very it's quick. Or having to be able to, make adjustments prior to their at bats or just different reminders. And, I just felt like that communication part was important to be able to go back into the dugout. And, in specific with Noah, he's been playing all over the infield. I don't think his numbers are really show how much better he's gotten over the last couple of weeks. He's close, man. I think he's really close to really breaking out. He's doing an awesome job. He's having really, really quality at bats, and I'm really proud of how stoic and consistent he's been with his mentality. And there's some other guys that are close there too. And it's a long season. It's a long season.
It really
have these peaks and valleys, especially offensively. This thing is hard. We forget these guys fail 70% of the time, and you're a pretty damn good player.
Baseball's so hard. People forget that baseball's so hard.
It is.
It's so hard. It's so hard. Well, looking at the weekend, it's kind of cool the way the schedule's worked out. Going back to VMI, and now you had JMU. You've got Longwood, the way the conference schedule worked out. Then Tech on Tuesday. You got 8 straight in-state games.
Yeah.
You're doing the state tour now with the Lancers coming in this weekend.
That was not on. That was not on purpose.
No,
especially when you get the conference schedule. Like the Longwood is kind of mixed in there. Makes it kind of cool. Longwood's. I mean, they're a completely different team than they were a year ago.
They're pitching,
and we knew that.
Yeah,
we knew that. Their head coach, right now he's an awesome coach. He was an assistant at VMI for 5 or 6 years. Very good friend of mine, and he does an outstanding job. He's been a challenge, right? Like they're a challenge in recruiting. They've made an investment in their field. They've got a new turf field. They're investing in their athletic programs for sure. And it's not the same old Longwood when I was playing.
Right.
To be honest with you. So yeah, I mean they've got some tough hitters. They've got some guys that are throwing really, really well for them with some really good numbers. They run. They've got some strikeouts, but they've got some guys that can. If you don't pitch them, they're going to hurt you. So yeah, I think it's anytime it's conference, man, it's anything can happen. I mean, they took 2 out of 3 from upstate last week. They walked them off. They're going to be challenged for sure.
It's good to have a guy like Raymond there on Friday. He threw so well. He's been throwing well. To have him step through like that against VMI, he gave up the home run the first inning. It never wavered him. He just came back and threw better. And how big was that for him? Now, I know you've been kind of getting him back up to strength, but it looks like to me that dude is ready to rock and roll now. So
yeah, I think he's close. I would even say he's probably a couple weeks away from fully being like his full potential self as far as from a velocity standpoint. I think there's another handful of mile an hour in there. But he's a pro. He's a legitimate pro in his preparation.
Absolutely is.
Obviously in his stature, in his skills, his abilities. But his presence is just makes him really special. He's consistent. He's consistent in his day-to-day routine, which makes him consistent every Friday night. I feel like we know exactly what we're going to get. No matter what, if anything, we're going to get something better. But we know what the floor is with Raymond, right? Like he's not gonna win, right? But like he's always going to give us an opportunity to win on Friday night. And I think that is so important. There's certain characteristics of a championship team that you need to have, and one of them being you need a guy on Friday night that's going to set the tone for the weekend. And he's going to go 6 or 7 plus. He's not going to give up a lot of runs. He's going to strike people out. He's going to step up in big moments. He's just going to beat the other team when they need to get beat, right? Like you got 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. He's going to get a punch out.
Right.
Like that's that. When your team needs something, he's going to go out there and do it. And that's what Friday night guys do. Like they're special. They're just different.
It's huge.
And everybody's got, for the most part, every team has one. They should.
Yeah.
So he's been a huge, steady, consistent presence for us. And we're thankful that we have him for sure.
Yeah.
We're making an adjustment with the rotation this weekend. We're going, Matt Lefevers is going to go on Saturday, and Daniel Quintana is going to go on Sunday.
Oh, wow. Well, they've both been terrific in relief. My goodness.
Yeah, they've been awesome.
They've been. They have.
Feves is a guy that I couldn't have thought of another person that would be better for that role. I mean, he did it for us last year.
That's right.
He did it for us last year as a freshman and competed his butt off and stepped up when we needed it the most. And he's experienced. He's had 2 starts this year against Queens and JMU, where he's gone 5 innings.
Yeah.
4 or 5 innings and throwing the ball really well. Pounds the strike zone. Our team feeds off of Matt. He's a legitimate 5-pitch mix. His velocity has ticked up to 88, 89. His stuff's gotten better. He's one of the best competitors I've ever coached. Just his teammates love him, and he's a special kid, man. He's awesome. And then Daniel Quintana, who was a starter, at Shepherd. So he's got a ton of experience there. We talked about him being a weekend guy in the beginning of the year, and then we obviously went in a different direction, and we really liked the combination of him on Friday night with Ray, and that's kind of the way we kind of scripted it anyways, because Ray was only going to go a couple innings, so we needed to have somebody with some length, behind him, and felt like he was going to be a guy that wouldn't be overwhelmed with pitching on a Friday. So, but that's another piece that I think is important. I think your Sunday guy is the next most important guy because he's holds the keys for how the weekend is going to finish out, right? Like, whether you're going in for a sweep, going to win a series, or to prevent getting swept, right? So it's a very important role, and it's huge on a Sunday to be able to get off to a good start, especially when you get deep into the season. These guys get tired. Guys, their mental fatigue. It's natural. Like it can wear thin. And I just felt like that was what we were missing from a consistency standpoint. I think Steiny and Corey are going to be huge for us out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
Unbelievable team guys. They took the role adjustment as well as any player would take it. Obviously not excited about it, but they understood. They understood, and as a competitor, I expect them to be frustrated.
Yeah, you wouldn't want them to go, okay, that's great. Yeah,
right, exactly.
Yeah,
so, but to their credit, they'll do whatever they need to do to help the team. I think their stuff will play a little bit better out of the pen, but we were having a tough time just coming back from these, 6-7-0, 5-0 deficits early on in the game, especially with kind of the way our offense was flowing. I think it's been a theme that if we get off to a good start on the mound and our guys can kind of get into the flow of things a little bit, we can roll and we can kind of do some different things offensively. But when we're down, and again, it's not a bad thing. It's just the way that our team is made up. Like, we just don't have like the thump that we do to be able to crawl back from an 8-0 lead. That middle part of the game, like it's a challenge. Like, it can be done, but when you're not having good at bats at the consistency that you need to, you got no shot.
No.
And that's where we've been.
Right. And you've been out of games. Right. Yeah, I get it.
So
those of you asking, yes, it's a home series. People are like, hey, we're going to come back. So now we may have a little alter in time tomorrow, right? That's what we're waiting on officially today.
Potentially.
Right?
Yeah, potentially. We'll make that call right around lunchtime today. Look at what this weather's going to be tomorrow anyways.
Yeah. Looks like it's been hanging on.
Yeah. It looks like it's just kind of hanging. So more than likely, we'll probably move this thing, to a maybe 1:30 or 2 o'clock start.
Okay. 4 on Saturday,
Saturday.
And then 1 on Sunday for those of you that are thinking about coming out this weekend. And we will let you know. We'll update on we'll have it for you on our social medias and everything if the game time does change on Friday. So that's cool. Well, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a hell of a series, man. 2 teams, it's going to be good. See how the adjustments pay off and keep it rolling from Tuesday, man. That's what you got to do, right? So
no question. No doubt.
Good. Yeah.
No doubt.
AG, thanks, brother. I appreciate you jumping on,
thanks,
man.
Rick.
Great stuff as always.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right, man. We will see you tomorrow. All right, man. Take care. There you go. Alex Guerra, head baseball coach at Radford. Yeah, so because of the rain, I was just looking at it. It's just holding over. Yeah. So game will probably move up on Friday, but hey, get off work early. Use that as an excuse. Hey, I gotta go. I gotta go take half a day. I gotta go to the doctor. Well, come to the stadium. It's the same thing. It's good therapy, man. And it's going to be 2 good teams, Radford and Longwood. come hang out with us. Come say hi. Stick your head in the press box. We'll be broadcasting all 3 games this weekend. 8 straight against in-state foes. Virginia Tech on Tuesday. So Tech fan, come out to Williams Field. If you don't make it in the next 3 days, which you should, starting tomorrow. But, yeah, we'll have Tech in town. One of first of 2 games against the Hokies. Hit us up in the McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Whatever might be on your mind. That's right, Wayne. Listen to the coach equals results. And I'm not surprised at all to hear those kids that, are out of the rotation this weekend take it very well. That was, you got to have team guys, and they haven't been throwing great, and they'll still get work. But, you just it's I know it's tough, but that's what you have to do. The betterment of the team is what matters. And we'll see how it all plays out this weekend. But Longwood's been playing well. And I do love Friday games because of what AG just talked about. Because I love pitching. I love really good pitching matchups. And Longwood right now leads the league in ERA. And if you haven't watched Radford on a Friday, you need to specifically be there if you like pitching, because Raymond Ladd is going to be drafted. He's 6'6", comes at you in a hurry. He's got great stuff, great composure. He's just got that makeup where you can just tell a guy's going to be successful at the next level. So he's coming off of arm surgery, and he's building up, and he looks all for the real reasons, which is hitting, but you want to pitching, situational pitching, defense. Should be a really good series this weekend with the Lancers. And it's a good rival. I think, in our league, we've lost Liberty. They've been gone for a while, and that was always, no matter the sport, it was so intense. I guess our oldest rival was probably Winthrop, but it doesn't feel the same. Now you get an in-state team, as Alex mentioned. They're dedicating a lot of resources to their baseball program. And you know how it is whenever you play an in-state squad. That's why I think it's cool the way the schedule worked out, that they have 8 straight at home. 8 straight against in-state teams. I think that's pretty cool. So come hang out with us. Feel free to stick your head in and come say hello. So we think you heard AG probably tomorrow, 1:30, 2 o'clock, whatever it's going to be. And then everything will stay the same, 4 o'clock Saturday, 1 o'clock Sunday. Beautiful stadium. I'm going to continue to try to get you to come out there. You will not regret it. Bring your kid. He's a baseball fan. She's a baseball fan, whatever, and hang out. You will not regret it. We have concessions. It's just a wonderful atmosphere. Wonderful atmosphere. Sweet 16 resumes tonight. No Dwight Vick today, by the way, in case you don't see him today. He'll be back tomorrow at 7. He's got to work again today. Dwight does some very important work. He cancels a lot of people. And you already have a lot of respect for him just because of the kind of person that he is, but knowing that he turned his life into a dedication to help others, and he has helped a myriad of people. He's a special dude. Dwight Vick's a very special guy. So he called last night. I knew when he called. I was like, uh-oh. I said, you're working again, aren't you? He's like, yeah, I'm sorry. You apologize. Come on. So we're going to have him on tomorrow. By the way, looks like Monday will be Rags, Marty and Rags from 7 to 8. That's what we're doing on Monday. So it looks like Marty and Rags, brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance, will be Monday, just to give you an update. Our monthly, just awesome session with those two guys. Our monthly awesome session. It's great. And I just got to stay the hell out of the way. Just get out of the way. Let them do their thing. Exactly, Wayne. Yeah. You're not just living off the name Vic. He's constantly giving back. I wish he lived closer. I mean, I wish he lived around. It'd be great to be able to do broadcast with him in person. That'd be great. And I'm looking forward. I'm not bothering him about Isaiah. Isaiah's got options. He's in the portal. And he's got a lot of offers. So he's going to end up at a really good D1 program. And I'm looking forward to seeing when they announce. I've not asked. I'm respecting that process. I know he's appreciated it. And who knows? Maybe he'll give us an exclusive here when all that settles down. But he had a great year at Wingate his first year. All-conference guy. And, he's got his dad's personality traits. He's going to be very successful. I'm excited for what that's going to end up being, however that's going to look. And he's got a pretty darn good guide right behind him to making sure he makes the right choice. So, but no, I'm not constantly asking him. I'm not. Because to be honest, it's none of my business. Nobody's business until they want to describe it. And then when they describe it, boom, we're there. We're there. Hit us up on the McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Professional Door text line. It's always rocking. Always rocking. Like I said, nobody ever bothers me. Don't mind your texts at all. I try to answer them as the day goes on. Don't think I'm ignoring you. I just got a lot, during the day, but I do appreciate it. Yeah, it does feel like he's kind of growing up with us. It does. Isaiah. Now check that his highlight reel too, man. His highlight reel is very impressive. Very impressive. So that's why he's going to have a chance. No question about it. No question about it. But good stuff there. Good stuff there from Andy. Positive things with early. It's early at Tech football. What else? We'll see how the scrimmage goes. Coaches are pretty protective about that. There's no doubt about it. I'm watching Hakeem Olajuwon highlights. Somebody said, do you believe he's a top 10 player of all time? Now, I'm going to be biased because that's when I was following the NBA and I was a Rockets fan. Hakeem Olajuwon, yeah, I'd put him in my top 10, but I'm going to be biased. Moses Malone got me started with the Rockets because he was from Petersburg, Virginia, right? The great Moses, who got his title, what is it, 82, 83 with the Sixers? Didn't get one with the Rockets. Yeah. Giles County peeps are nailing it. Yeah, they're fun, man. I'll tell you, it's I don't know about y'all, but when you get Coach Ragsdale going, I mean, you just tap into that. No wonder they were so successful. The dude doesn't miss anything. I mean, he could still be on a sideline today. I kind of hate he got out when he did. He made the right decision for himself, but come on. We need more Steve Ragsdales. Just a great dude. What a coach, man. What a hell of a coach. And you can see, I love it too with Marty, all the great success he's had in his career, but you can just see the look on his face. He's always listening to coach like he did when he played for him. Does Panera serve breakfast? Why am I shocked that Wayne immediately answered? Bagels. I got a pack of bagels up here in the cupboard. Sandwiches. Yes, made with rock hard bread. Danishes. Panera is premier. Yes, things you can't get anywhere else at a fraction of the cost. Coach Rags exudes enthusiasm. You know what? You know what's great about him? It's refreshing too. Amongst the many things about Rags, is the genuine passion that he still has for the game. He can't separate himself from football. It is such a large part of what he's about. And I think that comes through. And when you see people talk passionately about things that they care about, it kind of adds to the intrigue and the interest. I mean, and he starts breaking this stuff down. You can just see it on his face. You hear it in his voice. It's awesome. Yeah. The Cinnamon Crunch bagels toasted. You can't get anywhere else. I'm pretty sure I can go to the grocery store and find cinnamon bagels. Now, let me ask you a question, Wayne. How many dental trips will it take after I have one of those to kind of repair my teeth? Not like these, Rick. Wayne's going to go to Panera right after the show. Good stuff. Bill, a different Bill. We've had Billy and Bill on the text line today. He said, did baseball really start last night? Did I hear you say that? Yeah, it did. Started on Netflix, Bill. We got games today. Are any of these games on like TV? Let's see here. Pirates and Mets on Peacock. Everything's on Major League TV. So does ESPN not even broadcast baseball at all anymore? I guess they did lose that deal, didn't they? They have anything? I guess they don't. Unless you get MLB TV, you're not watching baseball on opening day. Peacock. The official opening day. That's scary, man. That's scary. Yankees, yeah, they got a big win last night. Jeff G, the Cinnamon Crunch Bagel is the only thing worth eating at Panera. Should I incorporate that in my basketball call? 15-footer. Oh, he bricked that one up there. Like one of those Panera sandwich bricks that will cause you about $1,000 in dental work. So Dwight tomorrow, Mike Ashley, and Jen. I don't know. People are asking. I don't know where Jen's. It sounds like to me she's a little nervous, doesn't it? She's a little timid about performing for everybody. Now, she just had the big gig that last weekend. I know I will give her this credit. She is very particular about the sound. Artists are like that. And I know she doesn't want to sound bad, but I told her, I said, you'll be fine. We're not going to care. We'll just be glad we hear it, but I get it. She wants it not to be just this horrible thing. But I know this about her. She will perform for us. She will play. I just don't know when it'll be. We'll ask the question tomorrow. I guess when we show up and see like her saxophone case, either in the background or beside her, we'll know that she's ready. But, we'll ask the question again tomorrow. We'll see what kind of lame excuse she comes up with tomorrow about not playing for us. Sure, her gig went great last week. So, yeah, we will put the pressure on. We will. Please subscribe, like, and share the channel wherever you might be. If you need a T-shirt, they're $20. Thanks to Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel, 4377 Lee Highway in Pulaski. Weather's going to be strange this weekend. Warm today, warm tomorrow, but we have that rain coming in. Cold on Saturday, which makes no sense to me. 48. 55 on Sunday. Then we start warming up again. So we'll see what it all looks like. I'm not even going to say it, but I want to get back to the roof. I talked about this right before AG joined us. So yeah, we did get that done, and I've seen the back slope. It was toward dusk, so I didn't get a chance to see the front slope. They were great. To get that done in a day, I mean, there was 10 dudes here. They were, wow. Who has the more pressure to perform, Shane Beamer or Jen? For us, it's Jen. Shane Beamer's got to deliver. He's kind of put himself into a tough situation with his postseason comments. That it's playoff or bust. He's kind of put that pressure on himself, whether he meant to or not, or whether he didn't think about what he was saying. But it's not for a lack of money. It's not for a lack of resources. But there are moments when you go back and look at a coaching tenure, with Brent Pry, you kind of saw the cracking of it 2 years ago, but it really was just exposed for the world to see last year. And the dam finally broke against Old Dominion. You, me, we talked about it right here on this program. We watched that first game against Tech, and South Carolina was preseason number 13. And Tech was playing them off their feet, right? It's 10-8 going into the fourth quarter. Then you had the punt return that broke the momentum. But there was something when you watch that game, you realize that's not a top 15 team, and they never got it back. They were not ready to go out and be a program that was taking the next step. They were built up to be this huge thing because of how they'd finished the previous year. This is why I don't like especially in today's world of the portal. I don't like worrying about somebody can't say, look how we finished the year before. It doesn't matter at all anymore. At all. But they never got it back. And you wonder now if something does happen, let's say they're mediocre. Let's say they don't contend. It's not hard to make a bowl now, but let's say they don't make a bowl. He'll be done. He'll be fired. And we're going to probably think back to that game against Tech because it was a foreshadowing. Or he may pull it out of the fire. He's got his quarterback back. We'll see. His quarterback back. His quarterback returns. Let's get Panera Bread Bricks and Dave Matthews sponsors. Great idea. All right, Morris, let me know. I can't wait to sponsor Big Dog Sports Talk. Maybe he could sing a new opening for us. We'll get Dave Matthews to do the close. Oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh. Will you be needing a Panera Bread retaining wall at your property in Giles Morris? This was a bet that Jen placed. Correct, Prometheus. That's right. What's her punishment for not owning up to the bet? That's not a bad idea. Maybe wear a Clemson shirt during the entirety of an interview or a game pick session. I like that. See, the band part of Dave Matthews, actually, when you would just hear the music, was okay. Right? It wasn't offensive. And then when he comes on, whew. Yeah, that's not a bad idea for me. I think we'll need to bring that up in chat tomorrow. Remind me, because likely I'll forget. See, let's do that. Let's hit her up for that. That's a good idea. Maybe that's what it's going to take. Yeah, maybe that's what it's going to take. The threat of her having to wear Clemson gear might be the thing to get her to perform. Someone just said my prediction for the saxophone performance tomorrow on the Tech Sideline: pain. I love Rocky III. Rocky III doesn't get enough love. There's so much good stuff that happens in Rocky III. We don't talk about it. People don't talk about it enough. Apollo reaches out to Rocky. The brotherhood officially gets cemented. You had Apollo letting Rocky win on the beach in a race that Rocky had no chance in any realistic universe. Mr. T was in the height of his popularity, was a great antagonist. Adrian flirting with Mr. T just to get Rocky mad. When Rocky came out looking different, how lean he was, because it was like, wow, look at that dude. Now we know he was on synthetics, but still, he looked great. The only thing the two things that bothered me the most, because clearly Apollo wasn't done fighting, because he went in the next movie and he lost his life fighting Drago. He was an undefeated champion, so Rocky beat him once, and then he just kind of went away. Apollo would not have gone away. I've never liked that. And then, why are you doing all this for me, Apollo? Why are you doing all this for me? I may have a favor. You're going to owe me a favor. Okay. But the favor was just being in a ring at the end of the movie alone, and you went around against one another, because remember the fight the movie ends and they stop the film when it looks like they're gonna, and then they play Eye of the Tiger. And he's got gold boxing gloves on. I never understood why Rocky has gold, or one of them, I think it was Rocky, had the gold gloves. I've never seen gold boxing gloves. That really bothered me. Yeah, Adrian was poking the bear, wasn't she, Wayne? Yeah, 100%. Over the Top, still my third favorite after Rambo and Rocky. I love the whole Rocky franchise through the first 4. Don't ever watch 5. It didn't happen. Rocky Balboa is a good movie. First 2 Creed movies are excellent. Where is Creed? Now let's talk about Creed. It's a great question. Not down here. He can't remember if he scooted out this morning or not. It's going to be a warm day, so he'll be out hunting. The bird count is at 2, by the way, already. Yeah, the rumor has it, Brandon, there was a Rocky 5. Oh, my Lord. That was I watched it because it was the next Rocky, and that's the one you go, nope, never again. Horrible concept. Tommy Morrison was not a good antagonist. They fought out the street. It was so stupid. Too much stuff with his kid who had grown up. I think Stallone felt so bad about 5. That's why he came back with Rocky Balboa, which is really good. Morris is traveling just past Savannah. Wow. Keep it rolling, Morris. keep it rolling. Be safe. Be safe. Which one had Hulk Hogan? Hulk Hogan was in Rocky 2. No. Sorry. Hulk Hogan was in the beginning of Rocky 3 because that was the whole point. Rocky had won the title and he kind of gotten away from his roots and he was doing all these promotional things, and Hulk Hogan was Thunder Lips. So in Rocky 3, they took the time to show you that he was too busy doing all these things separate from being the fighter that he was supposed to be, right? So Thunder says the Rocky character was pre-NIL and Tommy Morrison was posted. So Thunder Lips and Hulk Hogan was starting to break big, and that put him in a different stratosphere. Remember, Rocky took off the gloves and all that. Yeah, he was Thunder Lips. Good stuff. That 21. I talked to Mark Hundley 2 days. There you go. He said, hello, Rick. He's got some business from your listeners. See, there you go. Love it. That's the way it works. It's the way it works. That's why you want to hang on to hope all these sponsors come back, man. That's what I've heard from a lot of folks. That's great. Thanks, that 21. And thank you, peeps. Listen, the people that come on, that's why I want to talk to Sinmar because I want to go on a crusade for them. They were great. That crew yesterday, if everyone had the work ethic of those 10 folks, I mean, that was really, really cool. So Creed's up here now coughing. What's up, buddy? He's probably going to cough out feathers is what he's going to do. You all right? Why don't you get down there? Here you go. Down on the floor and take care of that. Plus, you see it's shedding time. So when cats are cleaning, they get exactly. That's all it is. He's cleaning, so he gets clogged up. But that was funny. Y'all mentioned him, and he showed up down here. But the dude's already got 2 birds, and they like to show it off. So he brings it up here to the door. He'll take it to the front door. You'll find the dead bird there, hollowed out. You're like, okay, all right, I know, buddy. I know. Congratulations. You did a great job. Very proud of you. He's been eating Panera. Yeah, he snuck in. I've heard that, at Panera, what they do now, like when you go to make an order, they hand you a dental discount coupon offer. Well, thank you very much. By the way, 20% off your next dental visit. You'll need to make that appointment in about 30 minutes. Have a great day. That is just wrong. It was a good comment, T-Bird. What's up, David? What's up, brother? I've been watching collected film from George Wythe High School, 70s and 80s, and Floyd High School. That's cool. They use concrete to replace the flour. David watches more high school football than anybody I know. The old footage. They do a great job. David, I need to talk to Julian, and I need to get you guys to come on together when we have some time here coming up. Summertime's perfect for that kind of thing. Spring and summer. So I want to do that and kind of make that a regular thing with you guys, because people are always going to be intrigued by that. Novocaine is a condiment. Which Panera is doing that dental promotion? I think it's going to be chain wide. Winford Beale, the great Winford Beale, 99 to 2000 state run. I need to reach out to him, see if he's. I haven't talked to Winford in a long time. Coach Beale, an all-timer, man. An all-timer. I believe we still have Coach Beal and Dave Christ with us, right? I believe I'm not speaking out of line there. Got to work with both. And Coach Christ is just salt of the earth, man. Of course, his brother sponsors the program with the Ready Set Fund. Just a great family. I had so much fun. The time I was over there with Blacksburg, 2 years at old Bill Brown Stadium. I loved Bill Brown Stadium, man. I had my own spot in the press box. The grass was always thick. It was just, I loved the atmosphere. I had the field house over there. I'm very lucky. Just going back, don't even think about college broadcasting and stuff, but played for Coach Hicks, got to call Pulaski County games, got to interview him as a former player for those broadcasts. Coach Norman Linneberg, I called Radford High School longer than any other program. For 8 years, 8 seasons with Coach. And the first piece I wrote for the Patriot was about, I called it Wednesdays with Coach. You had Mitch Albom's best-selling book, Tuesdays with Maury. I had Wednesdays with Coach. And then all these other coaches, with Coach Beal constantly talking to him about football and getting to work with Tim Cromer, Christiansburg, and Dave Christ, just to talk to those people about things. And it's just, and I haven't forgotten any of those conversations. And it always made me feel great because I put a lot into it and I respected so much about it. And I think maybe coaches picked up on it because I know Coach Christ was a lot like Coach Linneberg. We would do the interview for the radio broadcast and we just hang out. We'd walk the field at Bill Brown Stadium. Hey, Prometheus, there you go. Scored a lot of touchdowns in Bill Brown. I love that stadium, man. I know I guess they upgraded. Is that an upgrade? I don't know whether it is or not. I like the old stadium. I know they went to the plastic. Oh, very cool for me. This number 1. You look good in that uniform. In a 50-mile radius over 25 years, Harry Ragsdale, Dave Brown, Jim Hickman, Norm Linneberg, Dave Christ, Phil Robbins, Joel Hicks, Paul Wheeler, you name it. Yeah, you're right. You're right. All great coaches, all great men. Yep. Just good people, man. Very fortunate. Very fortunate. And I don't take any of those things for granted. Looking back, I was lucky. I found a portfolio, had some pictures of my time with Coach Linneberg. He and I took pictures together, and I cherish those. I showed you, when he passed, I have the team picture. He wrote so many nice things. Yeah, and you think about that too. I know you do, but to take the time to appreciate Phil Elmasian being on this program every week and the 50 years of experience and shares it's just incredible insight. So if you're a football person, man, you subscribe to this channel and you think about that. Coach Elmasian, everywhere they went, they got better. I didn't know really who he was. And one of the first times I interviewed Bud Foster, I remember being at Tech Football Media Day. Back when it was actually a family atmosphere. It was a bright, sunny day. You're on Lane Stadium. You're talking to players, talking to coaches. And I remember interviewing Coach Foster, and without hesitation, he said the thing that got us going in the right direction was when I hired Phil Almatian. And now that just pops back into my head now that we get to see him every week and talk to him. And we get to talk to him. We get to tap into that every week. Todd Grantham. And it's a nice parallel for what's going on at Tech and other places, right? First-year program. I mean, I know you appreciate it. I walk away from those conversations because you think you know stuff, and then you go, I don't know a damn thing. I didn't know anything. Those guys, when Todd breaks down, good Lord, you're just like, no wonder. Yeah, Burnup, been part of the show since the show's been the show. And obviously Dwight. Bill Roth on here. I mean, you name it. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Going to be, David, keep in mind, I'm going to be talking to you soon. I'm just going to do it publicly now, but I'm going to be changing up the 4th and Goal show. And you, my friend, are somebody that I want involved in that. So I guess I could have just sent a text or an email. But I know you're in chat, so I'm just going to ask you now. I'll talk to you about it. I want to develop it over the summer. I want to talk to coaches. We're going to have a different type of 4th and Goal show to make it more enhanced. It'll be separate from this. It'll be something that I'll record. It's going to go for an hour, and we're going to really turn up the notch on the 4th and Goal show. So, David, keep that in your mind. Let me know if you're interested in something like that. Now that I'm just bringing it out in public here, but we have no secrets. We let everybody. We're the wizard here. We let everybody look in behind the curtain, or we're not the wizard, right? I guess he didn't mean to let people look in behind the curtain. We don't care. Coach Elmo's segments are priceless, no doubt. The football knowledge and it is. And I think it's helping you, all of you watching Franklin's first, even though it's UAB and it's different, it's in a different place, but it's the same, you know what I'm saying? The same vibe, the same ingredients are being mixed in the bowl, if you will. Bruins my ass. Blacksburg always are the Indians. Correct. Don't get me started on all that. David, you have to wear black NFL jersey for the reformat. No, he doesn't. But I want the 4th and Goal show means a lot to me because it was something that Dan Callahan and myself created. The late Dan Callahan, who I miss every day. He is the heart and soul of Pulaski County football to this day. He was there at the beginning. He was one of the reasons Joel Hicks became the head coach, and he was such a great writer and so much fun to be on the broadcast. Dan was an all-timer. He actually named the show 4th and Goal show, so that's why I've kept it. It was his idea. He goes, something along the lines of, what's more exciting than 4th and Goal? A lot of things in football are exciting. Nothing's more exciting than 4th and Goal. We're going to call it the 4th and Goal show. Okay. Time and tested correctness from Dano. Boy, we miss you, Dan. We miss you. All right, everybody, take care. Great stuff today. Tomorrow, Dwight Vick. He'll be at 7, so you get him early. Mike Ashley with the open mic. We'll get some comments. You talk about a Carolina lifer now. Mike Ashley. We'll find out his take on the whole Hubert Davis firing, who he'd like to see in Chapel Hill. And then Jen probably not playing her saxophone tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy your day. Please encourage people to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you tomorrow.